Hello and welcome to Navigating Word Module C or Module 3. We'll work with Format Painter and some tabs and tables and a lot of extra features. So the first thing, this should look familiar. If you remember Communications and Essentials, all the side headings, we had changed them previously to heading 1. Well, we're going to do something different. So I'm going to select the title and maybe make it a little bit larger and change the font color, maybe put it in bold. And then what I'd like to do is add a border, but instead of just a plain bottom border, I want to add a fancy border. So I'm going to choose a different border, and then you just have to click it. Instead of doing it that way, if you choose box, you don't have to click it. You can check different ones to see which one you like, and then I'll show you how to get rid of the left, right, and top, just so we have the bottom. And then you go ahead and select a color and maybe a thickness. And then I'm going to take it off the left side, the right side, and the top, and I can do it from this way as well. So I just want the bottom, and it'll be just to that paragraph. And if you notice, there's a big gap between Communication Essentials and the line, so I'm going to go to Layout and change the after to 0. And also in the paragraph spacing, I'm going to change it to single, just so it's closer. Now, once you have the first one and you're pleased with the way that it looks, I'm going to go back home and I want to do it to all the side headings. So I'm going to, and you have to be very careful, double click on the Format Painter. Don't click it once, double click it. What happens is attached to the I-beam is a paintbrush. So I'm just going to, I could drag it and paint across it, or just point, I still have it, and click. And it copied everything. So I'll go down to the next side heading and just point and click. We moved it to the next line. And one more. Make sure, because it's still attached and it's still gray, you click it to turn it off. So that's the Format Painter. If you have one set up, you can just paint the rest. Just make sure you turn the paintbrush off. Great feature. Saves a lot of time. All right, the next assignment we'll go into is a tab exercise. So this one is already placed in a table, and you want to do the first quarter sales, and we're missing March. So what you do is this is called Insert Control, and you could actually, because you have two new tabs here, if I click in the title, I don't have that tab because I'm not in the table. Once I click in the table, I get the two tabs, Table Design and Table Layout. Now I could just choose Insert Right, or I could go in Totals and Insert Left, or just hover between the boundary and just click. And then I'll type in here March and fill in the amounts. I also, if you look up here, they're aligned right. So I'm going to do the calculation in Word. You don't have to pull out a calculator. So I want it to add to the left, January, February, March, so that it places it here. So click Formula. It should automatically be equal sum left, which is exactly what we want. And then I'm just going to change the number format so that I get the $, comma, and decimal places, 2 places. And then just carefully go down, and you can Control Y is repeat key. So there's a couple of ways you could do repeat up here, or Control Y, or the function key F4. Now I won't do it here because there is nothing to add to the left, but I'll go in here and I want it to add above. Formula, it automatically is equal sum above, which is what I want. I want the $, comma, and decimal 2 places. And then click in the next one, F4 or Control Y, next one, and the next one. Now, what you can do is you can put them in order by last name, but I just noticed that first name it's a little bit, doesn't fit, so I'm just going to go to the boundaries and just move it over just so it fits. Now, I want it in alphabetic order by last name, so I'm going to select all of the names. I'm not including the row with last name or totals because it would put that in alphabetic order. So way over in the top right, you have sort, and I'm going to choose to sort by column 1. Now, if you look at column 1, if there's 2 people of the same last name, then I want it to look at column 2. So that it'll put Ann will go before Jean. And they're both by text type and ascending order, and okay. So it's in alphabetic order by last name. And the 2 Smiths, Ann before Jean. Now, if you wanted, you could go into page layout, because right now it's showing, let me just show you what it looks like on one page, all at the top. So you could choose page layout, page setup, and go to layout. You want it centered vertically. You can go to borders, but I just want to show you that it's centered vertically on the page. I'll go into design, borders, page border, and because it's electronic, you can pick something. And you can make the width of it, the thickness would be 31 is the largest point size, and there you have it. Now, if you wanted to, I'm just going to go back to view 100%. The table itself, you could go to table design, and in table styles, select a style that you'd like. You can change your mind if you want. Just have it stand out. Now, if you notice that every other row is either yellow or white, if you wanted to, and also the header row is a different font, if you uncheck in table styles, you can see with the banded rows, so it makes them all the same, or first column, which is where the last name is. If you uncheck it, and header row, if you wanted to, you could choose the different styles just to see what it does. Changes it to bold, takes the bold off. Banded columns, so you just experiment with them. The next table is not a table, it's set off by tabs. So it would probably be easier to read if it was in a table, so I'm going to select all of the text, insert, table, and convert it from text to a table. And it's set off by tabs right now, and you'll notice that it's going to be 4 columns with 11 rows, which is perfect. And then I realized I'm missing a column, the hotel. So I just put that in there. Did you notice that they're not even? If you want, you hover at the top of the border of the very first one and drag across. And there is a feature in table layout that will distribute these columns equal, so that they're all equal. So I'll fill in this one. So I'm in the totals, and again I want to have the totals add up to the left, airfare and hotel. So in the table layout formula, it should be equals left, which is perfect. And then I just want the formatting with the $ for the totals, and OK. And then very carefully go down to the next line, F4, or the repeat key, or Control Y. And we'll align them in a minute when I finish. Now I need totals above, so formula, it should automatically be equal sum above. And then I'll choose the formatting style, OK, F4, F4. So for the columns with the dollar values, I want to have them aligned right, just so that the decimals will be evenly placed. And maybe center the column titles. And again, we want to put it in alphabetic order, so again, I'll select the second row all the way to the end except totals, sort, and I want it to sort by the first column, which is the last name, and then by first name, the second column. And again, you can go into design layout, pick any style you'd like. Now, if you don't like the colors that are appearing here, what you would do is go to design and choose a different color theme. I just want to have that selected. Choose a different color theme. Then when you go back to table layout, table design, the theme colors will change. So you can pick something else. And that was in design. We can also center it vertically, so it's layout, page setup. We want it centered vertically. It always goes to the top because that's the default. And you can go right to borders and right into art. So I just wanted to share with you what I chose for a border. If your color is not grayed out, then whatever art design you choose, you can actually change the color of it. And then if you want to get fancy with the page color, you could just choose a lighter color, or you can go into more colors or fill effects. And what's in here is you could pick 2 colors, and I'm going to go with the theme color I have, a lighter color. And you could choose how, this is the sample of what it would look like on the paper, so you can change it. Do you want it vertical, horizontal, diagonal, whatever one you choose, that's the sample will be the one that you get. If I choose that one, so you get that effect here. I just wanted to show you a little more in the fill effects. So that was 2 color. There are pretty cool presets in here, so if you wanted to choose something else in here, there's lots to choose from. That's a nice one. Again, what order do you want it to appear? I like that one. And okay, so you get different effects. So there's a lot of things that you can do to a document. So if you were to share this with someone, it will definitely catch their attention when they open this up. So I'm going to go Control End, and that gives me a completely new document. So if I actually creating a table on my own, I would go Insert Table, and if I knew I wanted 3 columns and maybe 5 rows, it's a 3 by 5, and there I have it. If I decide, ooh, I need another column, I could just hover here and click and get another one. Same thing with rows, you can insert Control that way, or if I select a bunch of rows and choose Insert Below, because I have 4 selected, I'll get 4 more. They'll just add up quicker. The default settings for the height and width are again, depending on what table, they'll always be equal column widths. So if I were to choose add to the right another column, they'll all be equally divided, so it goes within the margins. If for some reason you wanted one bigger, you would just manually change it if you wanted your own, to select your own size. Now let's say I made this one really large, but these are uneven. I could select these 3 only and distribute those. So those are equal, but this one's larger. You could do it manually by just hovering and dragging them over. So what you could do also to select, because the height is really small, so if you select this is to select the table, all the rows and columns, you can increase the size of it so that they're a little bit larger all at once instead of doing one at a time. If you wanted to split this cell, you wanted 2 here, but then the rest will be single, you could, maybe I'll do 3 here, 4, and it splits it, and this one could be the same width. So you could do it separately for an individual, maybe this one's going to be the same. Every other, you can decide how you want it. If you decide, oh, I don't want those split, if you select those 4, you could then merge them back to 1. If for some reason you wanted to split the table in half, you just go to where you want it to break and click Split Table, and it becomes separated. If you didn't want that anymore, you just press Delete, and it brings it back together. So you have your table design and your layout. And we'll continue with more tables in the next video. Thank you.